Hello, the stream. The stream has begun. Let's see how long I stream today. I I don't know. I'm always really hesitant going into starting a stream on like a new subtask. I don't know why. It's just insecurity, I guess. Like not only streaming it but also coding it. It's weird. It's weird. So, here I have to start with a how many lines is this? A basic chat server that works that I made, and I would like to move it more in the direction of not a chat server because that's not what I want it to be. I want it to be more like a game server, and rather than dealing with chat message related things, I want it to deal with the game's data. That's the very vague premise that we're going to start out with here, because it's been, oh boy, how long has it been? 2, 3 months maybe since I did C programming, and I wasn't very strong in C to begin with. So this could be pretty bad. We'll see how it goes here. So yeah, I want to do at least an hour stream today, and I can do 2 hours, but I don't know if I'm gonna want to do that. I've just been feeling lazy lately. But let's see if I can do an hour. Okay. Probably don't need these things hanging around, right? Maybe we have chat server hanging around. But probably we don't need it. Let's see if I can refamiliarize with myself with the code base and figure out what's going on here. Alright. This is pretty clear. Yeah. WebSocket stuff is really strange. That's so weird. Okay. I know I probably don't need to care about this stuff, but do I remember this? So we have a listen socket. Does that mean that right, okay. So a socket is not the same thing as a WebSocket. Socket is something else entirely. What? Oh man. Let's see. Socket program guide. I remember I was reading Beej's Guide to Network Programming. An internet socket. An internet socket is like the generic thing that we're making like system calls for. Oh right, I wanted to control click on this, but I don't have any. I don't have many of my IDE cool things because this is SSH'd into another computer, so it just doesn't. VS Code just doesn't feel like letting me do that for whatever reason. Whatever. Right. Right. Oh my gosh, and then there's these like. Oh. Oh, I remember hating this so much. This is rough. Okay, so damn. So this is the syscall. This is just like baked into the the OS, and the C language. You can just do socket, and I believe AFINet is basically an IPv4 kind of socket. And I want it to be a stream socket. Right, there's also datagram sockets, I think. Yeah. And then with every system call, we have to do these funny little things. P error. Print a system error message. The p error function produces a message on standard error describing the last error encountered during a call to a system or library function. That sounds like it could be cool. First, if s is not null and star s is not a null byte, the argument string s is printed, followed by a colon and a blank, then an error message corresponding to the current value of error no, and a new line. Oh, that's cool. Oh. To be of most use, the argument string should include the name of the function that incurred the error. Huh, I'm not doing that, but okay. Honestly, I've never gotten any of these errors. I think they're extremely rare and esoteric. That was interesting. Okay, so I never knew that. This was probably like ChatGPT putting it in here, and I just copy pasted it, or that, or Stack Overflow. I think it was a combination of both for a lot of this. Could have been in the guide too. I don't even remember what all this was really. Oh my gosh, and this nonsense. Set sock opt. So we're setting the socket options of the listen socket. Don't know what that does. Reuse and reuse IP address and reuse port, and we're ORing them together. That kind of makes sense. And we're sending in the address of opt. Okay. I think a lot of this is just boilerplate, and it's not that important. But I want to, like, spend a minute. F control. Set non-block. What? Oh, F as in file descriptor. Okay. Set FL. Set the file status flags to the value specified by arg, so I guess that's this. file access mode and file creation flags in ARG are ignored, okay. So we're saying set the flag for the file descriptor, which is, so sockets, the thing that's returned by a socket is an int, which is also a file descriptor. I don't know why file descriptors are ints. I assume I assume a file descriptor is just like an ID number, you know? But we're setting O non-block on it. Cool. I don't have to care, but cool. I'm binding the listen socket to an IP address. I think this is more complicated than... Okay, it's a port number, H2NS. Host to network. Host to network. Short? Is that it? A function converts the unsigned short integer host short from host byte order to network byte order. Yeah, S as in short. Yeah. And L would be long. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so it's an IP address and a port number because you need both an IP address and a port number to define a socket, or I guess to bind a socket. Because I guess what we're saying implicitly by all this stuff is that a socket is nothing more than a file descriptor, which kind of makes sense because we're doing input and output, so I would make sense that, you know, there's a file involved at some point to store the stuff that we're getting in, and I guess that we're sending out as well. So sure, so it's like we're configuring, we're setting some options on the file, and then we're going to bind it to a port after we've set the options, and that also makes sense. You don't want to go live until you've configured your settings. Alright, I claim I understand this function enough. Cool. Go back up here. I'm yawning way too much. And then this time stuff is just for my own sort of benchmarking kind of things. And then here's a description of what I think I'm going to try to accomplish, but we'll wait a minute on that. Okay, yeah. And then here's clock get time, clock monotonic start time. That makes sense. And this is a function that has a side effect. Dude, programming at C. One thing that this brings to mind is that in JavaScript, all your functions that you'd be using, they always like have a return type. It's so rare to pass in the thing that like will store the result in JavaScript. But in C, that's like all the time. They're like, hey, we expect the user to deal with the memory management stuff. So you pass in the particular spot in memory that you want your data, your result to be put, and we'll put it there. It's so crazy. I guess in Java, I guess that's probably a better way to do things, because in JavaScript, like, the alternative is that you would like create you would use twice the memory for the thing accidentally, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so what does this do? This tries to accept a new connection, and it doesn't have to, though. So this, I guess one of the things that I did is I set it to non-blocking, so that when I call accept with this socket, it won't just like sit there and wait. It'll try to accept it, and if there's no accept, then it's fine. Because this isn't a loop, right? This is like a tick-based server. It's going to do this every second. So try to accept. If we actually got a connection, what is this exactly that we're getting out? Temp socket. Temps, I'm sure I've specified some type for you. What are you? What is temp socket? Did I not? I must have like deleted it. It's an int. Ah, yes. Okay. It's a file descriptor. Does that make sense? Does it make sense that it's a file descriptor? Huh. Why does this look so different? Now I'm concerned. Okay. So maybe, okay, so what we should do, realistically, I'm pretty sure I, like, took an out-of-date copy of the chat server. So that's my bad. Well, we can fix this, though. And, I mean, hopefully this is, this thing that I'm copying over is actually the right thing. I'm pretty sure this is the more developed one. Well, let me look at this chat server. I have a copy of it in another workspace. Yeah, this one has like the add and remove client. So I think, yeah, this copy of it is more authoritative. So yeah, I think this is safe to do. Pretty sure that this was unchanged, though. Yeah, this looks unchanged. Okay. We have a temp socket because the thing that's returned by accept is another file descriptor. So it just goes ahead and like makes a new socket to deal with the connected client. And in that case, we will add said client. Error no equals 0. That's interesting, right? That's interesting. I do this error no equals 0 before each of the system calls. Why, though? That's an interesting one. I think I remember trying to look it up. Is it like... Like, do I know... Huh. Do I trust the system call or not to set error number to 0? That's insane. That seems really annoying to have to do before every function call, but whatever. Wow, that's so crazy. I'm gonna trust my past self and not look too much into it, but I think that's actually the right way to do it. That's so crazy. I'm gonna ask about that. Do you have to set error no to 0 in C? So Carnegie Mellon has it somewhere in their rules. I guess it's some certification, some standard. I don't really even know. But it does say to detect an error, an application must set error no to 0 before calling the function, and check whether it's non-zero after the call. Huh. Well, I'm gonna keep doing it for now. And try not to get too distracted. Okay, and then this is great. I like this. This makes sense to me. And this is the system call, I believe. Yeah, this is a system call. And then here's where we receive. We check each of the clients if they've sent us something. And what's insane is they could have sent us more than one message since we last checked. So that's crazy. That's fun. Okay. And then this is where I'm forwarding everything to everyone except the sender. Okay, and then this upgraded thing is part of the WebSocket handshake, if I recall correctly. If we've received something from a client and they haven't been upgraded yet, then we need to send the upgrade response. And this just basically goes from a regular socket connection to specifically a WebSocket connection. It's part of the, you just have to do this, and it will basically always look the same. It's always pretty much going to be the same thing. Oh yeah, and then there's you have to like, oh, it's completely insane. They send you like a secret code and you have to like hash it and send it back. It's completely absurd. It's for security, I think, but I got it to work, so that's pretty cool, I guess. So we got a WebSocket upgrade to work, and that hopefully it's perfect and we never have to think about it again, right? Right, and you have to like unmask the payload in WebSocket as well. Yeah. Huh. You know what I just realized? There's like no string operations in C, is there? Like compared to Python at least. So like how would I is there like a C split operation? How to split a string in C. Stir toke. Let me look at stir toke. Extract tokens from strings. I'm thinking about this right now because I'm thinking I want to make a thing where the client can send one or more integers. And I'm thinking like, how are we going to delimit them? I mean, I suppose I could send it as binary. Yeah, I would probably send it as binary, wouldn't I? Because, like, God forbid I use, like, JSON or something, right? I'm not going to write a freaking JSON parser. Okay. That'll be interesting to figure out how to do from the client. I mean, I still have to do some of the same logic server side, right? Like if they send, I have to infer from the size of the payload how many integers they've given me. And then there's the classic problem that actually JavaScript uses, I think, 32-bit floats for everything. There's really not integers generally. Which isn't going to be true in general. I'll try the integers just as as a fun little challenge, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have integers from the client side anyways. Yeah. Huh. How am I gonna parse that? That's gonna be a pain in the butt. Oh my god. Okay, so that's the insane thing here. Okay, is basically I want to do the chat, something similar to the chat thing. Like, this is very close, I think, to what I want, except it's strictly more difficult because after I've gotten the payload, decoded message in, after we've decoded the message, which is just the bytes, and by default this is like a string and you can just print the string. But now what we need to do is like interpret this string of bytes as not a string, but instead as numbers, integers. Okay. Yeah, I'm really not as good in C as I am in JavaScript, but but we have ChatGPT to help us out. Frame bytes. What do we need this for? Right, this is what we do because there could be more than one message. Right, right. Yes. Okay. Now what is my goal? Okay, what is my goal? I mean, I want to interpret this message as ints, but I guess it's a matter of we really just want to copy this data into something more um, persistent, because this thing is going to get overwritten immediately, right? So that's I guess the first problem we want to solve is right. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna allocate some memory on the heap. All right. Am I doing underscores? What am I doing? I'm doing a mix. I can't decide if I want to use underscores or not. Most of my variables are underscores currently. This isn't. What's my plan here? I don't know. But anyways. Client data is gonna be an array of size 10. Something tells me that's not going to be quite right, but okay. And what I want to do is say client data I is equal to hopefully an int pointer. And what do? We do calloc. Do I care about zeroing the memory? Yeah, here's the problem with resizing arrays, is that when you use realloc, it doesn't zero initialize the new stuff. I'm not sure that I care about it, about there being junk data there or not. Not quite sure, but maybe I should. I'm gonna, yeah, I'll zero initialize it. Tell me about calloc, please. We want num members. No. Yeah. Wait. And the size of each one. Okay, so it's 1,000 and size of int. Am I using size of correctly? Probably not. No, that's how you use it. Okay, I thought there would be like parentheses. I thought it was like a function call, but it's not. Oh my gosh, it's so weird. Okay. And so we've got these 10 resizing arrays, and we need more information for a resizing array, right? We need... Oh, this is weird. So when you're doing a static size, you don't do that? That might be right? That might still be wrong. Huh. Well, I know this will work. This I'm not so sure about. And we also say client data capacity I is equal to 1,000. Yeah? Yeah. Sure. Sure, that sounds right. Okay, let's try compiling this and see what happens. Expected expression before int. Okay. Can you tell me more? I thought I was using size of correctly. Oh, come on. Do I put you in parentheses? Does that... Do I have to typecast you? No. I didn't save this. Let's try it again. No. Okay, I'm doing something stupid. I need some typecasting or something like that. Show me the code. So this code sample leads me to believe that actually I do want to use parentheses with size of. Okay. Does that? Huh. So that works. That's kind of insane. Now, do I care to cast this to an int star? Doesn't matter. Doesn't seem to matter. Okay. So that worked, I guess. That's wild. If it's normal to put parentheses after it, then why don't I just do that there? Yeah, I guess I'm safe to do that there. Okay. There's every possibility I've done many things wrong here, but... the next step would be to do some, like, pretend parsing. And then we're going to have to go modify our client to actually send integers instead of strings. Okay. if I understand arrays correctly, being that they're sequential memory and they don't really have any like spacing between the elements, it's literally just determine how many ints I have and do a mem copy or some equivalent of that. So this is it, I think. So let me sure, you can be a char star if you really want, I guess, because a char is a byte, right? And an integer is going to be some whole number of bytes. So header.payload length should be equal to this. That's going to be equal to message in length. Okay. And that's a uint64. Probably not at first. What is a header? It's a header's a web frame header. What is the payload length? It is a uint64. Okay. So I should say something like, if the payload length is not divisible by 4, I think. Hold on. I think that's how you do this. Four bytes. That's what I thought. I think that's still the modulo operator in C. And then what? Well, what? We would do something like this. This downcasting is probably not going to make the program happy, but we'll see. probably have to do it explicitly, but I just want to make sure. We'll see. And then what? We want to copy this. So I think memcopy is the thing we would use. Okay, I don't know if that's actually what it's called in that case. C mem. Oh, it's memcpy. Destination, source, size t, n. The memcopy function copies n bytes from memory area source to memory area dest. The memory areas must not overlap. Yeah, that's fair. Use memmove if the memory does overlap. The memcopy function returns a pointer to dest, which we don't need in this case. Failure to observe the requirement that the memory areas do not overlap has been the source of significant bugs. Wow, there's lore. There's lore in this entry. Wow. Okay, so the number, so it's expecting, I'm just gonna like copy this here. Why is this included? Why is this in string.h? Okay. So what we do is we don't actually need numints at all, I guess. No, wait, we do. We want numints because the capacity of the resizing array is in number of ints. So we need to ask the question. We need to like say if client I, this is client data num elements I plus num ints. If by adding this many ints would we exceed the capacity? If we would exceed the capacity, then we should resize the array. And then in both cases, we can do the memory copy. And then I'll implement this later. Okay, and then we just copy the memory. So we just do like memcpy. The destination is going to be client data I. Where are we copying it to? I believe it's num elements I. Oh, that's horrific. So that should be... What would this be? I don't think this would return a memory address. I think this would return an element, in which case we should do this to get the address of that specific element. FudgeMeCake already has a C programmer. Hey, He says embarrassingly, "Yeah, here I am. I'm programming C." Do you mean that like you're surprised that to see a C programmer because Kik hasn't been around very long, or are you saying that like we've already got a C programmer, we don't need more? Because honestly, I'd be cool with either. I could see there's both of those things are valid. Both possibilities are pretty good. Uh, what's the source? Okay, the source is I'm not a very good C programmer, by the way. In my defense, I guess. In frustration, upgrade to C++, start living in the 1960s or 80s. Yeah, but C++ scares me because it's like C is already bad enough, and then I've just heard nothing but bad things about C++, so I just don't even want to. I nah. uh, I guess so. Like I've never used C++, so I can't really say. But my understanding is that um, if you're using C or C++, you're doing it for the performance benefits, and if you use C, you get like super ultra maximum performance benefits. Ever heard of OOP? Oh, so here's the thing. If you're trying to sell me on C++ by saying I get to use OOP, that's actually the opposite of a sales pitch for me, because I don't like OOP. I think OOP is icky. What are we copying data from? We're copying data from decoded message in, and we need to know how many bytes to copy. How many bytes we're copying is equal to the header payload length. Yay. Why don't I like OOP? That's a fair question. I don't think I've ever really tried to articulate an answer to that myself. If you're trying to raw dog coding, you should go back to Fortran and assembly. If only, dude. If only. I have mad respect for Fortran. Um, assembly's kind of. I don't think I'm good enough to do assembly. That's just a bit too hard. Um, but Fortran, my understanding is that Fortran is even faster than C, and I suppose assembly could be faster than C too. Um, but yeah, I've never used Fortran. C is all right for me because like it's a syntax that I'm already familiar with. You know, it's just like JavaScript basically. That's not really true. It's a total lie. The for loops look just like JavaScript. Um, but now there's all these crazy things that are way more complicated. What? But why not? Why OOP is bad? So it to answer that question, I guess it really depends on how you define OOP. You could define OOP in a way, like you could say, "Oh, hey, OOP is just like, sometimes you want a blueprint for a data structure and you want to like call a constructor on it, and that's what a class is." So like, if OOP is just the existence of classes and like having state and also having like methods, then I don't hate OOP. I think that's fine. Um, but because like I do that all the time in the JavaScript part of my program, uh, and I think that that's totally reasonable. but then there's some other parts of OOP that are not reasonable to me, which are like um, okay. I've every time I've used inheritance, I've gone back and like removed it because it just confused me and it was just like unnecessary complication. It's like, oh hey, you want to understand the behavior of this class of yours that you wrote, and you forgot that like, oh, this particular variable is like in the parent thing, so you have to go and like go find that. That sucks. I don't enjoy that process. Even just one level of inheritance is not fun. Um, More than one level of inheritance is completely insane, and I don't know why anyone would ever do that to themselves. But and then what else do I not like about OOP? Oh yeah, people take the encapsulation concept way too seriously. Like, so I've programmed in Java before, and Java is like you can't escape object oriented, right? Because everything in Java is like a series of 1,000 nested objects. You look at a stack trace in Java programming, and it's like classes upon classes upon classes. To be fair, I love the documentation in Java though, so I think that's a great thing. But anyways, yeah, in Java, when I'm writing a Java program, I just have like a global object that I give everything access to because I don't understand why you want to hide data from like you don't. There's to me, I there's no reason to hide data if you need access to it. Like, why hide data from your other classes um, if you don't need to do that? I mean, I guess one reason might be if you're trying to like understand, if you want to sort of limit the scope of your understanding of things, and that's fine, but that's not what globals are for. Globals are great, but you put things into global scope that need to be global scope, and not the other way. I don't know. Am I making any sense? This is not like a 2 hour in depth review of object oriented programming. I just don't like I I every description of it and every time I've seen it, it's just like it's icky. It's doing things just because the rules say you have to do it that way. What about enums and structs? Well, so structs are totally fine. Um, hey, look, here's a struct. Do you mean like you can use? I'm not sure what you mean by what about them. Like, yeah, enums and struct are fine. I think like enums are kind of like a class, I guess, but I mean, an enum is just like an array of values, and they give you like some syntactic sugar to access them more nicely. You get to name the elements of an array, and that sounds like a lot of fun. Um, I think it's mostly just compiler magic. It's not really like a structural thing. You're not really messing with your data in any real way. And then structures, I I don't know. Structs are structs. Structs are the thing that you have in C as well as C++. plus plus. Do you have enums in C? Maybe that's what you're saying. Is that what you're trying to say? Is like if you use C++, plus plus, you could use enums? Does C have enums? Like I said, I'm not a very good C programmer. Evidently, yes. According to the internet, C does have enums. So that's fantastic news. That makes me love C even more. What am I working on? I am I'm making a rhythm game, and I want my rhythm game to have online multiplayer. To give my game rhythm game online multiplayer, I'm writing a server from scratch in C because I'm completely insane. Rhythm game question mark. Okay. So, have you heard of games like Guitar Hero? That's a rhythm game. Does that make it sense? Does that make sense to you? Okay. There you go. Yeah, so my game, I think I could show you. Let's see. itch.io. Give me 1 second while I pull up my game. All right, here you go. Here's a black screen. Okay, it's not a black screen anymore. That's good. Okay, my rhythm game. Let's see. Disclaimer: this game is still early in development. Not indicative of final quality, etc., etc. Do I have game audio? I do. Okay, hopefully that wasn't mind-blowingly loud. Okay. All right. I still think this is gonna be a little bit. I'm really paranoid. I don't. Oh well. Let's do a test run. Let's see if the music is too loud. Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be too loud. All right. 25%. Knock it down. Most people use Unity over C++ or React, but you decided to go back to the roots. Yeah, I did. Because that's just the kind of freak that I am. EFK. Okay, it's working. I'm not gonna play the whole song, just like half of it or something. So that's the game. My question to you is how he's only getting 144 FPS. That's because it's because of VSync, because it's locked to the refresh rate of my monitor. Unless I turned on a flag in the browser options, which I could, let's see. Chrome, how to uncap frame rate. Okay, Reddit says that if I do this sequence of things, I've never done it before, but I know that's possible. Let's figure it out right now. We'll do it live. Let's see. Oh, weird. Okay, so you have to pass in command line arguments to the Chrome start. This was 4 years ago, though. Is it still accurate? Okay, I mean, I could do that, but this is 2019. This is 2020. Is it still the same thing? Disable frame limit. I mean, let's try it. Okay, we have an answer from 2020 that claims to be correct. Let me. So what is it? Right-click the Chrome icon. I'm just going to describe to you what I'm doing. Right-click the Chrome icon. And do I put it in Target? In the destination box. Okay. So in the... Oh, well, it's not called destination anymore. It's called target, but okay. In the target box, I'm going to insert these arguments at the end. Hit apply. Need to provide administrator permission. Okay. And will I immediately regret this decision? Let's find out. Let's. So if I open Chrome again. Okay, so if I click U. Okay, here we go. That's annoying. And it didn't work. All right, and that's how you do it. That's how you solve the frame rate problem. All right. Like, comment, and subscribe. Gosh dang it. What the frick? What the frick, man? Yeah, I got nothing. I've got one attempt, and I've tried one thing, and I'm giving up. I hope that was fun for you. But I know it's possible, okay? People on the internet say that it's possible. I've just never tried it, and there's some way to do it. I know that I can get better than 144 FPS. Because, you know, it's not that graphically demanding. Have you tried JS? What do you mean, have I tried JS? Do you mean, because to be clear, my game, the game that you just saw, right, this is JavaScript. Well, it's TypeScript, which compiles to JavaScript. But this is JavaScript, basically. Like, this is all web based. Like, these buttons and stuff, these are like HTML button elements right here. Does that make sense? Or do you mean use JavaScript on the server side? Using like Node.js or whatever. Really? Back in the day, websites were made in Java. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, so there were these things called like Java, they were like Java applets or whatever that would run in your browser. Yeah. This was sort of either before Flash or around the same time as Flash because I remember that. I remember that. But then those sort of like, I guess browsers dropped support for those, and that drop of support happened before I started this project, so I ended up doing it in JavaScript, using specifically the HTML Canvas API to do I guess the quote unquote rendering part of the game. So, anyways, memcopy. I want to see if this compiles. Yeah, it compiles. Okay, so this is telling me that it's correct. If I were to go write a client that passes in integers, I would probably want to like have some way to test this out, right? So I'll write a little test. I still remember when Unity had JavaScript support. Whoa, Unity used to have JavaScript support? That's crazy. I mean, to be fair, I actually don't really know a lot about Unity, but my understanding is that Unity primarily uses C Sharp for all of its stuff, right? So we could do a printf. We could do a printf of what I want to do is print the new things. This needs to be a J, not an I. Right? Is that right? Okay, what am I looking at here? Right, so this is actually... this is weird. It's the number of elements in there minus 1. Is that right? No. No, it starts at 0. So it would be num elements plus j. That's the index of the element we want to look at. And we put that there. And then we say got an int. Got int equal to %d. And a new line character. There we go. So this would print the list of integers that we just got from the client. And then finally, we would say that we got more ints than before. We need to update the count. Amazing. It was called UnityScript, but eventually they shifted to C# for speed and simplicity. Are you also like me? I feel obligated to go through the what? All the bet when declaring variables for my for loop? Alphabet. Oh. I mean, I start at I. Do you start with A? Don't worry about it. It's fine. I always start I just have I, like, I don't have to go through the alphabet in my head. Like, I just know I is going to be the first one. And then I know J comes after I. It's IJK. IJK are like in my memory. They're like right in order. So I don't really have to go through the alphabet. If I ever had... So the reason this is a J naturally is because we're in a nested for loop. See out here, 50 layers of nesting down, we have an I, so we can't reuse I. We have to do J. If there were ever a nested sequence of loops I wrote that went past K, then I'd have to start from A to figure out what comes after K. HIJK L. I guess I start from H. HIJK L. Oh, what have you written there? See, I can't tell if you've written I twice or if one of those are L's. This is the classic capital I versus lowercase l thing. My convention goes I, then I go through skip I. Okay, I. You're talking about I. Yeah, I mean I use IJK because of math, like in in the context of doing math stuff, generally you use I, J, and K for the indices of things. So, because I'm kind of a math guy. Oh, I see what you're saying. So your first one is I, and then you start at A all over again. That's completely insane, my dude. Yep, that's completely insane. You're a criminal. You should be locked up. There. Police, there he is. There's this man. Lock him up. I assume you're a man. I don't know. Is that sexist? Should I not assume that you're a man, just because you talk about programming type things? Oh man, they're gonna cancel me. I should just quit streaming right now. Okay, so anyways, as long as this compiles still. Yeah, this compiles. We're not going to be able to test this little piece of code until we actually send some real data its way. So you actually identify as a Apache helicopter. Okay, but what are your pronouns though? Okay, so here's this. I want to switch to my other coding screen. Okay, here's my other coding screen. Yeah, so now I get to figure out how to send binary information via a socket in JavaScript. Thon self. Amazing. You're from the Flashverse. Perfect. I understand. I understand completely. Good for you. You're stunning and brave. Okay, so I can send an array buffer like or a blob. I probably send an array buffer like. Okay, so this is part of JavaScript I'm not super familiar with. Okay, so I think it's like int16 array. Int16 is talking about 16 bits, which is 2 bytes. Actually, we need an int32 array is what we need. What do I do with you? I need to Google this. How to make an int32 array JavaScript. We call that stupidity or liberal ideology without Sophie. I'm not familiar with whoever that is. Sophie. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's French. Gregoire. I'll Google it. Sophie. Oh, they're a Canadian television host. Oh my goodness. Of course. Justin Trudeau's wife. I'm in the US. Ex-wife. Okay, I didn't know that. That's fair. According to Instagram, she is a gender equality activist. Okay. Well, I wouldn't consider myself a liberal. I I don't know. Yeah, we have Sleepy Joe. How to make an int32 array? Okay, Mozilla has the answer. Oh, I can use. Okay, so I can input an array here, and then it'll just make it. Fantastic, perfect. Let's do not that. Let's payload equal an int32 array. Send that. Sure. Cheeto for 2020X. Well, I don't know. Do I want Trump in the next election? I see. I try really hard not to follow politics. That's not totally true. I follow politics less than I used to because it's so divisive and you just can't talk about it without pissing people off. Um, but I don't hate Trump as much as other people do. I don't like have a visceral reaction to just mentioning his name. But at the same time, I'm suspicious of him. Would you rather Hillary Clinton? God, man, I hope it doesn't come down to it. Please don't give me that as the as the dichotomy. Um, who's that other problematic Democratic candidate? The the Kennedy guy. Yeah, that's a more interesting comparison, right? Trump or that Kennedy dude? How about that? Is that right? Is that him? We're talking about politics now. This is amazing. So here's my thing about politics, right? I just don't like the two-party system. Cuz I'm a very small government kind of person. I'm just like inherently skeptical of anything the government does. Robert F. Kennedy. Yeah, there you go. Maybe there's a junior in there as well. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. But I'm like just so inherently skeptical of everything government does because like they have so many amazing success stories the government does. Like okay, maybe this is a particular city's problem, right? But like the multi-million dollar bathroom installation that they did in New York or something like that. Like New York or like the government does not have they don't know how to spend money efficiently and they spend it on stupid crap. Um and I have to pay for it at the end of the day. You know? Hopefully it's such a dark joke. Hopefully he can duck faster than his uncle. Yeah. Damn, bro. Damn. You said it. So, so I think this might like just work, right? I mean, we could test this. We could test this. So how do we test this? We test this by opening this up. Okay. And then, so let's switch the scene to here. Oh, there's actually an error. I need a new constructor. Okay. There we go. Hopefully that's sufficient. Do the changes happen immediately? I think they do. Yeah. Okay. And then I need to go over to my server and start it up. You have the exact date in your head. November 22nd, 1963. Because I had to do a research project on him in high school. Ah, I see. If you didn't catch the last one, don't worry. Ah, I see. Alright, we're running the server though. Pay attention, this is a big moment. We're about to see me sending data to the server. Gosh, this is such a pain in the ass to juggle all this. Okay, so when I type in any message here, it's actually just going to send the numbers 6 to 1. And that's actually totally fine. I just need to restart this and it'll actually connect now, right? I claim it's connected. I have one client. Yes. Okay. The client is connected. In all seriousness, you feel bad for him. The dude who died, the original Kennedy who got assassinated. Yeah, I mean, I guess I feel bad for him too. What? Why don't black people dream? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, do you mean MLK I Have a Dream speech? Is that what you're referring to? I feel like that's like a half-formed joke. I'm not all the way there. Payload sent. Oh, that's not good. Oh, okay, that's not that bad. Okay, it just thinks that I have more than I did. This is okay. Okay, yeah, I actually just do divide by 4. I think that's it, right? Okay, let me restart the server. The last one who had a dream got shot. Yeah. Are we doing it? We're doing it. We did it. We got the numbers 6 through 0. And we expected to get the numbers 6 through 0 because that's the data I sent. This is perfect. Racism's only funny in moderation. Look, I like dark jokes and stuff, but I don't know. I guess I'm just like I guess I thought I was more comfortable talking about politics, but like maybe sometimes I'm just not. I'm just like I'm not in the political mindset, you know? I want to talk about like I don't know, the weather and boring stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. It just makes me slightly uncomfortable to talk about it on stream. Well, anyways, regardless, uh, it's getting late, and it's time for me to be heading out. Actually, not anything to do with the conversation topic. Uh, Believe it or not, I really only plan on streaming it for an hour, and it's been an hour and a half. So, and I just like had this amazing success. So I'm good to like call it a night. Thankfully, you can't get canceled. I had a chance with 2K-ish followers on Twitch that got banned after I let some words slip. Yeah, yeah, I no, I get that, and that's part of the reason why I like Kick. So like, don't get me wrong, I I'm not into like Twitch's approach to moderating discussion, um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just not. I'm not feeling the political discussion today. Hmm. Anyways, regardless, I hope you enjoyed the stream, and and you know, I hope you can stop by again. This was great. I'll uh, I'll see you around. Until then, farewell.